And here we are, it is day 6 of Pauper Commander January, and this is one of my favorite Pauper decks I have made, called Block I Dare You, led by General, I'm not gonna pretend I can even attempt to pronounce this name. But pretty much what he does is whenever a creature we control gets blocked, it gets +3/+3 until end of turn for each creature blocking it. So pretty much the goal of this deck is we're playing a bunch of creatures that have trample, so if they ever get blocked, they'll become +3/3 tramplers to do massive amounts of damage. So pretty much they either block and they do damage, or they get blocked and they still do damage. So to do so, we're playing pretty much only creatures that have trample, as well as a couple of mana dorks here and there, as well as cards that pump up stats. So either if they get blocked or don't get blocked, we can still get in for a ton of damage using these pump up spells. Alright, so let's just go through the land really fast because it's pretty uninteresting. It's pretty much just your generic tool land thing. Like we're playing Ass Barons, we're playing some of the new Capenna Fetch lands. It's kind of life gain, and the ones that you can search for either a forest or a mountain. And then like the Cliff Gates, the Thriving lands, the just pretty much any of the dual lands you can tap for red or green. We're only in 2 colors, so it's pretty basic land package. Our removal is also fairly basic. We have a Hull Breach for artifact and enchantment removal. We have a Nature's Claim for the same thing, as well as a Ram Through, which is pretty much makes a creature we control deal damage to a creature we don't control, and it has trample, which most of our creatures do. It does that excess damage to the health, so it's kind of a way to remove and do some incidental burn damage. The Mana Rocks is also a very basic package. We have the Arcane Signet, the Bondless Ornament, just very good, generic draw power, and the Border Post just because we want to have a lot of mana for pump and stuff. So that's why we're playing a pretty easy Mana Rock. It is a 3-drop, but we can play it for 1 by playing 1 and returning a land. So we tap the land to add the 1, return that tap land to our hand to play this out. And then let's go over our slew of pump spells. We have Awaken the Bear, which pretty much makes something get +3/+3 and trample. The trample is not too relevant as most creatures already have, but for the ones that don't, we are able to get that trample on them. Bulletin pretty much makes a target attacking creature get +2/+2, and then each attacking non-human creature gets trample. Most of our creatures are non-human because there's not that many humans that have trample, so pretty much this basically reads one of our creatures get +2/+2 and the rest get trample if they don't already have it. Boot Strength, another one, just makes a creature +3/+1 to gain trample. Most of these are at instant speed as well, so if they choose the block, it's because like, okay, we have enough toughness we can block, we can pump it to pretty much get like this reads +6/+3 if it gets blocked while we have our commander out. That's really good. Bull Strength gets its creature +2/+2 and gains trample, and it's also untapped, so we can use it kind of offensively or defensively if we really need to. Colossal Growth, it's a 2-drop but also kicker. If you pay an extra red, it gives a creature +3/+3, but if it's kicked, it gets +4/+4 and gets trample and haste. The haste, it could be irrelevant occasionally. It is only 3 to get the full effect off it, so it's a very nice card from DMU. Colossal Might gives a creature +4/+2 and trample. Confidence from Trix gives a creature +4/+4 and trample. Colossal Ramparts gives a creature +3/+3 and trample. You might notice a little theme here. Enthusiastic Study is one of our pseudo draw engines. It's pretty much, it gives a creature +3/+1 and trample, and also learns. There's no lessons in Commander, but we can still discard the draw card, so if we have like a little too much land or a card we don't need in the hand, we can loot it away to get a draw power. Fully Grown gives a creature +3/+3, and it gets a trample counter, so if it's for a creature that doesn't already have trample, this gives it trample. Larger Than Life is very good. It gives a creature +4/+4 and trample. Massive Might, just only a 1-drop. It's lower than the other ones, but it's +2/+2. Not as strong as the other ones, but for 1-drop, it's definitely not bad. Predator Strike, another +3/+3 and trample. Run Amok, same exact thing, except it's red. Rust of Adrenaline gets +2/+1 and trample. Strength in Numbers gives a creature +X/+X, where the X is the number of attacking creatures. So we have a decent bit of board of zombies, and we use Strength in Numbers on a trampler, especially an unblocked trampler. That could be enough to just win the game alone. Team of Batteries gives a creature double strike, so essentially pretty much boosting our creatures up to really high levels. Giving that double strike can be enough to also just swing out for a lethal swing on somebody. Our ramp package is pretty basic. Cultivate, Farseek, Cartometry, Nature's Lore, Needs Pilgrimage, and Rampant Growth. Nothing really too special about it, so I won't spend too much time on it. And then of course we're on to the main crux of the deck, the Trampler creatures. So we have the Almighty Brush Rag, which is normally a 1/1 to trample, but if it becomes blocked, it becomes a 4/4, plus we can pump it, so if it's blocked, we can make this a 7/7. Plus the effect is not once per turn, so we can stack it and make this thing get really massive if we have a lot of mana to dump into it. Algothian Shrine is a 3/3 trample, but when it gets blocked, it becomes a 6/6, so that's why we're playing cards like this. Even though the stats like aren't the greatest, like 3/3 trample for 4 mana isn't normally that powerful, But with our commander, making this into a 6/6 trampler for 4 mana is significantly better. Arrogant Worm is a 4/4 trampler. It also has madness. There's not too many ways to discard. Pretty much, I think only what's that card? The Enthusiastic Study is like the only way we have to discard. But if we do, we have a mana's cost. Avenging Hunter, it's a trampler that's a 5/4 that gives initiative, which is already very good. And then if the commander's on the field, it gets blocked, it becomes an 8/7. That's very powerful for 5 mana. Banahai Kurasok? I don't know if I said that right. But it is a 4/4 trampler with Reinforce 2 that we can discard it to put 2 1/1 counters, and it also has Scavenge, which pretty much lets us put 4 1/1 counters on a creature. So we can make a creature go 6 1/1 counters if we want to discard it instead of putting it onto the field, which is very good in this deck. Bremorth Behemoth, just a very low 6/6 trampler for 6 mana. Of course, everyone's favorite card, Colossal Dreadmaw. That's why you clicked on this video, maybe. This is unironically one of the best cards in the deck, because a 6/6 trampler that can become a 9/9 trampler, if not more if it's blocked with the commander out with our pump spells, is really good. It's unironically one of the best cards in this deck. Crimson Fleet Commodore, a 5/2 trampler that also gives us the Monarch. Monarch is very good in Pauper Commander, and also like Monarch and Initiative is also very good because the odds of us being able to get it back is very high because we have a trampler. So even if they block, the trample damage more likely than not we're able to get the Monarch/Initiative back. Elfheim Worm, just a good old 5/4 Vigilance trample, so there's not too many with double keywords in Pauper Commander in this particular color pairing, but this is one of them, and Vigilance on the trampler is very good because it's both an attacker and a blocker. Excavation Mode, just ETBs. It does have to mill 3, but a 3/3 trampler is worth it for 3 mana. Vanguard Enter, just a 4/4 trampler. Frenzied Onyx is a 4-drop with Riot, so it either enters the battlefield with a extra 1/1 counter, haste, and it has trample, so it can be a 4/4 trampler, a 3/3 trample haste. Plus for 6 mana, we can pump it +3/+0, so if it's blocked, we can pretty much triple its attack. Ghost Companion's a 2-drop vanilla that's a 3/2 trample, but that 3/2 becomes a 6/5 if we have our commander and it's blocked. Null Black Rhino is also one of the best cards because it's a 4-drop with trample, it's a 4/4, but whenever we cast a spell that targets it, we draw a card, and since we're playing so many pump spells, pumping it into Null Black Rhino lets us draw a bunch of cards to refresh our hand. Goliath Beetle is just a 3/1 trample, not the greatest stats, but with our commander it becomes significantly better, especially for 3 mana. Greater Tanuki is kind of a trampler, kind of ramp, so you can pay 2 and a green to channel it to discard to put a basic land onto a battlefield. Alternatively, we just hard cast it, it's a 6/5 trampler. Harvesttide Infiltrator, just a 3/2 trampler, on the back it's just a 4/4 trampler basically. Hooting Mandrills is a 6-drop, but it has Delve, and since we're pumping a bunch and we have the Fetch lands too, we can cast it pretty easily for cheap, and a 4/4 trampler with only like maximum 1 green mana is very powerful. Hungry Spriggan is a 1/1 with trampler, but whenever it attacks, it gets +3/+3, so attacking it's a 4/4, and if it gets blocked, it becomes a 7/7 for 3 mana, very nice and very powerful. Insatiable Soul Eater is a 4-drop that we can pay a Phyrexian mana or green, so we can pay 2 life for 1 green to give it trample, and it's a 5/1 for 4. So if it ever gets blocked, it becomes an 8/4, which is very, very good. Jewel Thief, another regular Pauper superstar. It's a 3/3, and it's one of the ones that has Vigilance and Trample, so it's a not offensive and defensive card. And ETBs, we also get a treasure token to help us ramp a little bit. Koro Dazar Monitor, I definitely didn't say that right. 3/3 Trampler, but also has Scavenge, so you can exile it from a graveyard to put a 3/1/1 counters onto any creature, which is very nice. Colossal Avengers, a 3-drop with a 3/1 Trampler, but we can also pay 1 of the green if we have Threshold to regenerate it, Threshold being if we have 7 or more cards in our graveyard, which is pretty likely with all the pump spells and the fetch lands we have in our deck. So it's one that can not only do good damage, especially if it gets blocked, but one that can also regenerate itself to keep it safe. Lifecraft Cavalry is a 4/4 Trampler, has Riot, so it gets 2 1/1 counters if a permanent left the battlefield this turn. So if we do lose a creature to combat, it will use one of our fetch lands. This enters in as a 6/6 as opposed to just a 4/4 for just 5 mana. Menagri Liberator is just a 3/2 Trample. It also has melee, so whenever it attacks, it gets a +1/+1 for each opponent we attack the creature. So if we swing wide, it can get up to +3/+3. And it gets blocked, it gets another +3/+3, so it could at maximum get +6/+6 with Trample. Very powerful. Wolfden Monstrosity is very easy to cast since it's discounted based on the greatest power of creature we control, and it's a 5/5 Trampler. So since we're playing so many with like 3 to 6 power, this could discount it very significantly to get it out for just a couple mana. Not only is Form 1 is just a 5-drop of Trample that gives all other creatures Trample, so like if we have like our Mana Rocks, also our own commander, it gives them Trample that wouldn't otherwise have them. Also it's a 5/3 Trample on its own. Bigby Razorback is just a 2/1 Trampler for 2, so not the greatest stat line, but with our commander, it suddenly becomes a 5/3 Trample, which is a lot more threatening. I've had Rancor in the Trample. It gives a creature +2/+0 in Trample, but since most of our creatures have Trample already, it's mostly going to be used for the +2/+0 effect, alternatively for our Commander. And then whenever put in the graveyard, it just returns to our hands, which is very hard to just get rid of without direct removal. Satyr Rambler is just a 2/1 with Trample and the exact same thing as the Pygmy Razorback and why we're playing it. Territorial Scythecraft is very good. It's a 2/1 Trampler with low stats early, but it constantly grows with each land entering the battlefield because it has landfall that puts a 1/1 counter. And since we're playing some of the Fetch lands, this is one of the payoffs for playing those Fetch lands. Thundering Cannon is a 4-drop with 2 Phyrexian mana, so you need to pay 2 green or 4 life in total to get a 5/4 Trampler onto the field. More often than not, we're going to be paying the Phyrexian mana cost because only paying 4 for a 5/4 Trampler is very powerful. And last, we have Wildwood Patrol, which is just a 4/2 with Trampler, but outside of that, it's all it's got. And that is the deck. It is very fun to play. It's very fun just to swing in combat and more likely than not worry because your opponent's going to have to choose, do I take less damage or more damage? Because if they're blocking, they're still going to take damage 90% of the time. And if they don't block, they're taking damage anyways. And our creatures, most of our creatures are already pretty strong, like 5-6 power. And in Pauper Commander, where there's only 30 starting life, it can get out of hand very quickly. Anyways, that is the deck profile. Thank you all for watching. If you want to play Pauper Commander, there's links in the description to a server with a very active Pauper Commander community, as well as the deck list, so if you want to look at it yourself to have straight up export it for ease, or however you want to do with it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.